Hi, I'm Carol Jurgensen Sheets, aka Carol the Coach, and I am going to be talking to you today about shame. So many sex addicts feel that self loathing that is a byproduct of shame. And here's how it typically works. There are two types of addicts. There's the type of addict that gets into some habitual behaviors that turn into compulsions that then turn into sexual addiction. So that's that kind of sex addict. And then you have sex addicts that have experienced some trauma. And they have typically reenacted that trauma by doing things that they feel shameful for, such as sexually abusing children, or objectifying women, or seeking prostitutes. And so they feel so bad about that behavior because they, in their past, have been exploited too. And so they reenact the trauma of exploitation by exploiting others, feeling as if they have some sort of control, that they are actually physically on top of the situation because they're making the choice to do it as opposed to when they were a child and it was done to them. So you got these two types of sex addicts. And I'm going to ask you, which one are you? Did you just start out looking at porn, and then when the internet came to be, you got online and pretty soon you were looking for the next hit, the next best thing, the next unknown thing, and that, as I indicated, started out as a bad habit and then moved into a compulsion. You had that drive to do it, and then it became an addiction you couldn't stop? Or did you experience some sort of trauma? And now you are reenacting that shame by traumatizing yourself and others. It's important to know which one you are. Because if you're the addict that started out with the habit and the compulsion and the addiction, your shame is about where you are today. How'd you get here? How did it get so out of control? How did it get so bad? That is your shame. And if you're the other type of addict, your shame started early in your childhood when you were being abused or exploited or neglected or traumatized. Patrick Carnes says that worse than any kind of abuse is actually neglect. It's the silent abuse. It's not being noticed, recognized, taken care of. It's that lonely, empty feeling that you had as a child where you knew you had to survive, but you weren't quite sure how you were going to do it. So you were always sliding by the seat of your pants, doing the best you could. And sometimes that produced anger, and that anger meant that you were mean to animals, you were mean to other kids, you were mean to your siblings. You cheated on your test, you did what you could to get by because, damn it, people weren't treating you right, and you didn't owe the world anything. Well, as we get older and really begin to cognitively understand that what we're doing is very wrong, it results in that feeling of guilt. And when that feeling of guilt progresses to the point where you know better, but you don't do better, you start really criticizing yourself. You start really hating yourself. We call it self-loathing. And then that starts the sexual addiction cycle, which reinforces the sexual addiction. It's that self-loathing, it's the trauma, it's the hating yourself that keeps that cycle moving. And shame is not something that you can wear and progress in your own life. You have to look at it, you have to be aware of it, and then you have to seek a certified sexual addictions therapist, read books on shame, and then move out of it. I know that there's a new concept, Pia Melody actually talks about it, and it's called healthy shame. And the next video I'm going to be doing will be after I really explore what is her sense of healthy shame. In my practice, I've never met anybody who felt shame, who felt good about it, that had what I call healthy shame. Now, what I can say is shame's an indicator to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, and to make the choice to move out of your life. And to do that, you really have to employ the steps it's going to take to create a transformation in your life. And that involves lots of support. That involves lots of reading. That involves doing the hard work, whether it be with a certified sexual addictions therapist, or maybe you go to Survivors Week at the Meadows, or you do your work at Elements, at the Ranch, at Santa Fe. I mean, there are just so many good treatment centers that either provide residential treatment for 30, 45, 60 days, or they have workshops where you can get some intensive help and kickstart yourself to make your life different. Unfortunately, what we do know to be true is that if you don't work on your shame, you never get better. And especially if that shame is accompanied by trauma. Shame, like anxiety, functions as a signal of danger. And it's a signal of danger because you are imploding. You are taking that self-loathing, that disgust, that hatred, and you're turning it in yourself. And then for so many people, when they've imploded that sense of shame, they explode and exploit. And you've heard me talk about it before. There are so many types of sexual addiction, and almost all of them have some form of anger and aggression in it. When you objectify women and ask yourself, would I want to do that to my daughter? Would I want other people to do that to my daughter? You can see what an angry act exploitation is. When you touch somebody without them knowing it, when you experience and display frauderism, you're taking advantage of somebody and you haven't asked permission. You've violated them and you've done it secretly. And that in and of itself can cause great, great problems. So it really does signal some very dangerous behaviors. And the more trauma you've experienced, probably the more aggression you're going to feel. And that's why shame can be so devastating. Now, oftentimes, you'll ask yourself, how can I start loving myself? What can I do to make a difference in my life? And I'm going to tell you that you can follow the recovery tools and get the support you need from like-minded men and women who have been through it. And that usually means Sexaholics Anonymous, SA, or Sex Addictions Anonymous, SAA, or Recovery Nation, an online group of people that have forums and coaches. It may mean a specialized group in your church. I love Celebrate Recovery, but I don't recommend it for sex addicts right off the bat. I think it's too light. You really aren't able to talk about the darkness behind your sexual addiction. So find a supportive group, get a mentor or a sponsor, read the book, the Bible of SAA, do the work in Recovery Nation. Create a fellowship so that you have people to talk to when you're working on the sexual addiction. See, that's half of it, is working on the sexual addiction. The other half is transforming into the best person you can be. And this is my promise. You can be in the top 5% of the human population when you transform and create the life you deserve. And it takes hard work. It takes at least 3 to 5 years of recovery. And then it takes real transformation. You know, I went to an I Can Do It conference this weekend, and that's a motivational conference whereby we learn skills to take our life to the next level, to believe in ourselves, to use positive self-talk. And I highly recommend that if you go to hayhouse.com and subscribe to that website, you will be getting inspirational material. Today, I downloaded 101 affirmations that I can hear when I'm in the car, when I'm on my computer, when I'm doing my power walking. Because what I know is what you put into your body, the fuel you put into your body makes a real difference in how you relate and react to the world. I hope I've given you some hope, strength, and recovery. I want you to go to my podcasts. I have, over 200 of them now at sexhelpwithcarolthecoach.com. I'm glad you found me here on YouTube, and you can always go to my website to get more information. And that happens to be Sex Help with Carol the Coach too. And if you got a partner, you might send her to just Carol the Coach, because there's lots and lots of articles there that are not about sexual addiction, but they are about motivation, depression, self-esteem, goal setting. And hey, you go too. You go over there too and balance your life with sexual addiction recovery and transformation. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again real soon.